If you came to this conference for the networking, stand up. All right. If you are sitting with people you already know, remain standing. All right. You can be seated. I thought networking was about schmoozy salesmanship for the longest time. It was about making genuine connections and really helping people because that's what I like to do. And so figure out what it is about you that you can bring the most of to benefit others. Networking is different. Networking is about building relationships over time. And that's what we're going to talk about today. It's all inclusive leadership. Everything I teach is about inclusive leadership. I really believe that inclusive leaders can be anywhere and should be everywhere. So let's find them, let's give them the tools they need to succeed so that employees don't leave, right? These great companies that they work for just because they have a manager that hasn't learned these skills yet. The first two buckets our brain goes to are the ones I like to call been there, done that, and that might kill me. The difference between been there, done that, and that might kill me is familiarity. Familiarity comes from what we've learned. It comes from our preferences. Preferences for or against. Those preferences you may have heard referred to as unconscious bias. Unconscious bias means we don't know we have a preference yet. Those of you who were still standing when I said sit down if you're sitting with people you don't know, you didn't know you came in here with a preference. You just sat with people you knew, right? That's what we do. Been there, done that. It's safe. Sitting with somebody new might kill me. I weave in what's happened that day at the conference or what I know about the client or conversations that I had in the hallway. I'm constantly talking to people. I messaged everybody here and said, are there questions that you're hoping I'll answer during the session? And then I incorporated their answers into my talk.
I loved the interactive nature of the card that was on our tables, and it's something I can take back and do with my team back at work and have them have that same experience without being here. And Amy was very engaging, kept us talking to her, answering questions live.
So I'm going to ask a question. This is something that we do in IT a lot. It's called Fist to 5. So I want you to tell me from 0 to 5, how many people do you have in your champ network? And if it's just one, please use your index finger. We need people in our network who have seen more than we have seen. We need to tap into the retirees, sorry, you're not done yet giving to your industry. Because we need your perspective. Because you see cycles and trends where we see peaks and valleys and no future, right? We need young people in our industry. We need to be connected to them because they consume the world differently than we do. The entire economy has changed in a generation. And if you don't believe me, try to find a Blockbuster executive and explain to them how you can get Taco Bell delivered to your house while you stream Netflix. If you want to be irrelevant, stop talking to young people.
I wish I'd have had this information when I started, or at least within the first 5 years. It would have been very helpful. She did a great job presenting, and I'm hoping we get to hear from her again. I plan on taking this back to my chapter. I think everybody could use this information.
Everything changes, right? And so if we want to know about the changes that are coming, we need to be tapped into our network. If we want to know how to survive the changes we're facing right now, we need to be tapped into our network. And if we want to help others get to where we've gotten, we need to tap into our network. A lot of people say, I can't network, I'm an introvert. Like, being an introvert is your superpower because everybody wants to talk about themselves. Nobody wants to listen. And so if you show up ready to listen and you ask good questions, everybody's going to walk away with a good feeling if you just ask them really good questions. I was a reclusive nerd. I worked with computers because I didn't want to work with people. And so I had to figure out how to make that transformation from reclusive nerd to inclusive leader. And now I help other people do that too.
She provided the group with so much information on networking. She gave us relevant tips, practical tips that we can utilize in our day-to-day activities, our day-to-day life. She gave us an exercise, whereas my table partner and I were able to just have regular conversation. And it really helped me, as well as my table partner, come out of our shells and just start to make a connection. And again, utilizing Amy's tips, those are things that we can do in our day-to-day activities as we build those networks.
If you've exchanged stories with these folks that get to the heart of who you both are, times when you've struggled, times when maybe you didn't live up to your values, times when you weren't the hero, Those are the stories that matter. And I bet the people that you're here with now, that you're sitting with now, you feel so connected to because you've had this exchange. And if I tell you my story and you tell me yours, our mirror neurons activate, we start to feel trust, we start to feel empathy for each other, we start to feel a connection. Stories build trust, and trust builds relationships, which is what networking is all about. So if we want to have the kinds of careers, the kinds of communities, the kinds of companies and organizations where we all feel valued, we got to do the work. And that starts with stories.
I have really enjoyed working with Amy. Every interaction was truly a delight. I actually looked forward to our meetings, to talking about what she was going to bring to our members, as well as brainstorming about different things that were on our mind. She has gone above and beyond, in my opinion, to make this overall conference and event a success for our members. She did extra things that we didn't ask her to do because she just really wanted to make sure this experience was fantastic, and it really was. The engagement with the audience was very dynamic and very personal and real, and I felt like she had known us for a long time. Very interactive, and we learned a lot together, and a lot of laughter and a lot of fun.
I think lives change in little moments. Small micro epiphanies of people saying, oh, I could try that. And then they do, and it works. And sometimes we don't know how many steps we need to take before we figure out we're on the right path. But if we start doing the right things, the path starts to light up for us. Pretty soon it feels like a runway. Your heart can't be in the right place if you never move your feet. And what we're going to talk about today is how do we move our feet to get our hearts in the right place, so that we're changing the flow of opportunity in this industry, so that we are the part of the power grid that's syncing up, connecting people, supercharging ourselves and each other.